Hello and Happy New Year to everybody. Last year, the end of last year, I think most people know that my mum was pretty poorly and she needed to receive some oxygen and some medication via a nebulizer. And it was a little bit scary, and I'm a great believer in trying to turn negative things into positives. So the paramedic threw away the tubing that she used to administer the nebulizer, and of course, me being a crafter, I don't throw anything away, I don't waste anything, so I nabbed it out of the bin. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm actually going to use this now to try and turn this negative experience into something positive. So I think I can make beads out of this. So I've got an assortment of wrapping papers left over from Christmas, and I've got some alcohol inks, I've got my UV resin. Just off to the side here is my lamp, my UV lamp, and I have the tubing. Obviously you don't need to go to extremes and use medical tubing. You can use rolled up card. You can buy tubing in the stores. Parts of an old pen I think would probably be fine. This is just very easy to cut. So I'm going to slice off a little bit. Oop, and it's shot all over the place. That's fine. Okay, I've got it's a microfiber brush stick with the bit off the end, so I'm just going to slide that on, and that should hold it straight and in place. So for this one I think I'm going to try and use a little bit of paper, so I just need to cut off a piece that will go around, not very much, and probably would have been easier actually just to cut a piece of the tubing the right size. So let's do that rather than cutting down the paper. So it's about that size. So stick that on my stick there, and take my paper, and I'm just going to start rolling it round. Not easy to do in gloves, but I don't really want to take them off for the minute. So just roll my paper around. So you can just make the beads from rolled paper. You don't need the tubing inside, but as I say, I like the idea of using something to create a positive thing. Now I'm just going to grab a little bit of glue. Let's just see if this B7000 will work. I just need a tiny bit along the edge just to attach it. I'm just going to hold that in place for a few seconds. Oop, come on. Maybe hot glue would work. Double-sided tape would probably work. Certainly be quicker. I'm just trying to get it tight around the tube. That's held for a minute. Let's pop that away. My brain is still fuzzy from my post-viral thing, so I am pretty clumsy at the moment. Right, so I've got my Mod Podge here. I've just decanted it into an old bottle, and I probably won't be able to get anything out of it, so yank that off. Right, let's see if that'll come out. There we go. Okay, so wrap that around and hold that in place for a minute. I'm just going to let that one dry there, and then I'm going to put that on the other end, and while that's drying I'm going to use some alcohol inks. I've got Adirondack alcohol ink in raspberry, so I'm just going to put a bit on a sponge, and I'm dabbing that all over. I want that all covered. Lid on. And now I've got the Adirondack mixative in silver. Let's shake that up and put a blob of that on my sponge. And ooh, that's a good old blob there. I want a bit more. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to let that bit dry as well. Make sure you put your lids on your pots because alcohol evaporates quite quickly. Like that, looks like that's done now. So now I'm just going to take my UV resin and put a blob when it comes out. So I just put a blob on there, and I'm just using my fingers to smooth that around. Get it all covered. And then keeping that twisting round, I'm just going to let it settle for a few minutes, and then I will put it underneath the lamp. And I can see I've just got a little bit of the paper wanting to curl up there. So I didn't bother sealing this. I don't mind if it gets a little smudgy or changes colour. I do want it to lay flat though. I might have to deal with that afterwards. Okay, so keeping this moving, I'm going to pop that underneath my lamp and let that cure. Back in a minute. Okay, that's back out. So I have a little bit of the paper that decided to curl off. So I'm just going to see if I can snip that flat. And I've got a file here. So I'm just going to file it down, make sure that it lays flat. And then I am going to add another layer of the resin. So and if I glued it properly, I wouldn't have to do this. But there you go, that's okay. Right, so another layer of the resin. Oh my goodness me, I don't know what's going on with this brain fog. Post-viral is rubbish. Alright, so just going to try and find a stick rather than using my fingers. There we go. So I just want to smooth this out and keep the stick moving, spinning, and you'll be able to put a layer across the surface and it should even out. It doesn't take that long and it's not that hard just to keep it spinning, and then you pop it underneath your lamp. Right, so let's let that rest now, find its own level. Make sure everything's covered. I think it's lovely. It looks like ceramic once you've finished, so a great way to use up scraps as well. All right, let me pop that underneath the lamp. Okay, that's done. You can continue to layer that if you want. I think that's fine. So I'm going to try and do a layer now on top of the alcohol ink. Oops, sorry. I don't want to put too much on. You can always layer it, that's fine. So I'm just going to keep it spinning. Come round, that's it. That's joined up. Grab my stick and smooth it out. You seem to end up twisting the material of your gloves in the stick and it doesn't turn, so right. I'm using the Let's Resin double-sided lamp, which is great because it doesn't really you don't have to turn it full circle, you just have to keep rotating it back and forth. And that looks like I've got a good layer on top of there, so I'm going to put that under the lamp. Okay, so that's had that first coat. I'd like that silver to be a little shinier, so I'm going to use some silver flakes and I'm just going to hopefully dot them. Now this is cured resin. They're just sticking via static to the actual glossy resin, but I'm going to coat them and then they will stay in place anyway. I don't want too many. Just the odd little bit. Come on, stick please. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And another coat and that should be done for that one. So same principle. Whoop, don't put too much on. And keep it moving around, just spread it over. Try and get a nice even coat. Just let it flow into place. And then I can pop it underneath the lamp again. Okay, that's done. See if I can slide these off now. Give it a twist. And that's one. Oop. Here's two. So I'm going to carry on making some. Let's try a bit of this lovely holographic paper, just some wrapping paper. About the right size. Okay, straightens it out at the same time. I'm going to try a little bit of sticky tape, I think, this time. I'll have to take my glove off for that. Right, so a little bit of double-sided tape. Put that at that end. And I will put one at the other end as well. Okay. Now, let's just make sure that I got that on as straight as possible. Oop. Okay, and then I can roll it, take that off. Oh, that was nice and easy. Okay, glove back on. Cover again with the UV resin. Okay, I've given that one coat of the resin. I'm going to add a little bit of this. No, actually, I think I'm going to add a little bit of this greeny blue. It's called Clover. So I'm just going to add a dot. Pick it up. And that's kind of a spiral. Yeah, just random. And I think I might add some of this as well, so that we cover up some of the holographic, but not all of it. You can really go to town with this. I think you probably put glitter on, mica powders, all kinds of stuff, I would think. It's a bit lumpy. I'm going to take that bit away. Yep, I think I quite like that. So that needs another coat of the resin, just to seal that in. Another line. So I'm putting 2 coats of resin on here, but go as much as you like. So I might see if this needs maybe 3 coats. Oh, it's really pretty. Right, so I'm just going to let that settle again and I'll cure it. And then I'm going to give this one 3 coats and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, there we go. Twist that off. And they're quite solid. So you can make them any size you like. Great way to use up little bits of wrapping paper and turn something that was pretty much a negative into a positive. I'm going to carry on making some more. Okay, I've finished making a whole bunch of them. I made a slightly different one here. I just used some mica. I think it's mica flakes. And I painted the actual tubing silver and then put some mica flakes around it. But I managed to make some green and silver ones and the pink ones that you saw me make. So I have a bunch of them and I have some elastic. So I'm going to string these now to make a bracelet. So first of all, I just need to put this around my wrist and get enough that I can tie a knot in it once it's threaded. So, and now I just need to string my beads. So I'm going to alternate them, pink and green, and then throw in the odd bead. I only have 2 of these ones. Pink one. So I'm just going to keep going and pop these on until they are all on. Okay, so they are now all strung. So I'm going to tie a knot in those. So I'm crossing left over right and I'm wrapping it round. And this is slightly thicker than I would really want for this beading elastic, but I have to work with what I've got. So I've crossed it left over right, and now I'm going to cross right over left. So, and I just want to pull that down. Now I don't want to get that any tighter, so I'm going to pull the bottom of my piece and the top at the same time and tighten the knot. So I'm holding both on that side, both on that side, and I'm pulling to tighten the knot. And then I'm just going to pull the top. And I do want a little bit of slack there. So now I'm going to snip those close as I can. If you have smaller beading elastic, then you can hide it in your beads. I think this is a little too thick to allow that to happen, but I'm going to try. So I'm just going to put some glue on this. Actually I might use UV resin just because it will seal it and it's quick. So let me just get some gloves on. Okay, so I've got some UV resin and I've got my torch. So I'm just going to put some particularly where it's going to fray. Just enough to seal the pieces together and act like a glue. Stop that from coming undone. Okay. I'm just going to put my light on that to cure that. Okay, so that's been sealed now, so I'm just going to see if I can poke that in my bead. If I can get it to go into the middle, it will hide the elastic and also help to secure the knot. But it is quite a big knot and the hole is not that big in the middle. So oh, there you go, I managed to pull it in. Right, so I have a bracelet. And I think you'll agree they are really pretty, and you would have no idea what they are actually made of, but I do, and that's something that's personal to me. So yeah, I hope you've liked this video and that you may give it a go with either rolled up paper beads. You could use any kind of a tube really. This is, I believe it was a straw from a plastic bottle, so it's quite a solid straw. Anything that you can cut, a pen barrel. I've got quite a lot of these gel pens which are coming to the end of their life. You could use the barrel from that. So yeah, lots of things that you could use. Take a look at things differently and prevent them from going into landfill by turning them into something beautiful. Thanks very much for watching. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Bye.